My serious counter is off the charts tonight? I'm not being serious. Am I? I better amp up the silly factor. I had to warn the chat room that, I was going to be streaming live once again here in this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chris Pirillo. Of course, you already know that because you're here. You subscribed. You probably turned on notifications if you're watching live. Normally, we do the Locker Gnome Daily Report in the other YouTube channel, youtube.com/Locker Gnome. But this is the weekend. It's the end of a weekend. Today, I celebrated the weekend by playing Battlefront 2 for the first time, and wow, am I out of practice. I did that on my Twitch channel. I decided to do it there, twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo, which, by the way, is where you can go, to follow me or potentially subscribe. And if you subscribe to me on Twitch, then you get access to the Discord chat room. This very chat here, the community, the base, the foundation from which you spring, or, through which you funnel how you arrived here. Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo. You've tuned in once again to another live edition of the Locker Gnome Daily Report, TLDR for short, and AMA every day, Q&A with you and me. You dictate what this video is going to be about, and I'm going to begin with a question that came in before the stream started. Yes, believe it or not, people were waiting around for me to do this video. I'm a vlogger, says someone on YouTube, and I upload daily. Can you tell me why I'm not growing? Well, there's probably a lot of reasons. If only it were so simple. That's not an easy question to answer. I will say this. There are a lot of people out there who are vlogging, who are producing videos. So, what are you doing that's radically different from everybody else? What makes you stand out? What is it? What's your hook? What's the catch? What are you doing that is so compelling that everybody has to drop everything that they're doing at this very moment to watch you and your video? I can't even answer that question for me. I don't know what that is. Because right now, it's just me talking and answering questions. Sometimes it's me playing a video game. Poorly. I did. I think I'm good with playing Battlefront 2 for like an hour a day, though. I did save the video. You can watch it if you want to see just how bad I am. With Kylo Ren, though, in the arcade mode, I was actually doing fairly well the first time around. But, yeah, I'm still getting my sea legs again. My Star Wars sea legs on land with that. So, why would anybody watch me play a game? I don't know. I still don't have an answer to that. Why would someone tune in and watch me live? Well, maybe it's because I'm answering questions. Now, maybe you want to do the same thing, but if no one knows who you are, what are you going to do to stand out? What are you going to do? It's going to take you a long time. And if you're lucky and you happen to do a video that captures the world's attention, or catches or captures the world's attention, well, you may get a massive amount of people watching you very briefly, but what are you going to do to keep them around? You have to answer those questions. And keep in mind, attention is your biggest competition. Not somebody else, it's attention in general. There's a lot of things that you can do. Anybody can do. So thank you for asking the question. Unfortunately, it's just not a simple answer. It's not a matter of uploading daily or monthly. It's doing something that people may find interesting. Maybe people don't find me interesting. You know what? There are probably a lot more people out there who don't find me interesting compared to the amount of people who find me interesting. And I'm okay with that. You got to recognize that even if you find 100 people who care, hey man, that's better than none. I'd rather have 100 people who care than 1,000 who don't. I will say that pretty much until I'm no longer speaking to you. Okay, I'll keep speaking to you. Peaking? Hopefully my audio is not peaking. If you heard some clicking and clattering there as I was talking, it's because Anchor sent me a couple of cables here, USB-C cables, which I need. I need these cables, but I think what I love most of all about these cables, yeah, the color, red, but specifically because the color jumps out. So if I need a USB-C cable, I know I can dip in to the bag well, it's not really a bag, it's more like a little bin of cables, which I have to go through like every year because I just accrue like, USB micro, mini, lightning adapters, I mean, all sorts of stuff that I just don't use on a regular basis, and then I effectively kind of clean them out every year. So I'm going to be holding on to these USB-C cables for a while because I know I'm going to be using more USB-C type content. Sean Foster comes in with the first super chat. Thank you, Sean. Says, thanks for the great content, Chris. thank you for the great super chat. Thank you for the attention. I do appreciate that, especially on a weekend evening when I know that you could be doing something else. But do not worry, I will not be playing Battlefront 2 again. I may jump over to Twitch, though, after this broadcast, just to kind of do another IRL, another CPU, Chris Pirillo Uncensored. I'd be happy to do that. We've got a few other questions here that, are possibly coming from you watching live, because I can't get questions when you're not watching me live. It's not how it works. I'm not even sure what I'm going to address in tomorrow's video in this channel. I could talk about how bad I am at Battlefront, though. That's not interesting to anybody. Let's see here. Looking for a question. Sometimes it's a little more straightforward than other times. Although someone did ask how the iPhone 10 phone is going. I do have to mention that every day for at least the next few days. We're about halfway there, which is better than a kick in the pants. I'll be very happy with that. And I recognize that someone had mentioned to Liz that there were some other techies, or so-called techies, who were doing a podcast, and before the podcast they were talking smack. I started thinking, I'm like, well, people don't like that you're in charge of the things that I do? Okay. People don't like that I give so much control over to the community? Well, that's their problem. Maybe people don't like my approach to things. And the way I thought about it is, well, if the community wants to crowdfund an iPhone 10, I'll give them an opportunity. But that's really no different than a Patreon campaign. What I'm proposing, what we're doing with the iPhone 10 fund, is nothing more than what I had done with a Patreon campaign for these past few years. Or even before that, Nomies. Y'all remember that? I had a Nomies campaign for a while, and we took subscriptions, and people were supportive. And of course, every step of the way, anytime I try something new or try something different, there's pushback, but inevitably those people either, forget about it, it's tempest in a teapot, or they end up adopting that kind of model themselves. Sometimes it's difficult to be an early adopter, but, I would expect more from so-called techies, right? Those who allege to be on the bleeding edge of things. It's one thing to use technology, but use it to your advantage, right? And so if I've got a chance to better connect with the community this way, I'll be happy to do it. So no, I'm not worried about people being upset that you're in charge. Liz asks in the super chat, miss me yet? I've already yelled at the screen. I'm sure you have 74 times. And we've only been streaming for, not even 10 minutes yet. I don't even know how long the broadcast is going to be either, because, it's a weekend. I want to be mindful of your time. Juan Contreras, that was a very American way of saying that. Juan Contreras asks, really nothing. He says, I've been watching for months. You keep doing what you're doing. I will keep doing what I'm doing, so long as you keep doing what you're doing. I'd be very happy to reciprocate, because to me, it's really that two-way street. And without that, it would be very difficult to do whatever it is that I can do. Let's see here. I love this guy. Well, thank you, YouTuber. I guess I love you too. And it's not that in terms of, he's talking about the iPhone 10 in the later part of his comment. But it's just that I would rather buy a bag of potato chips, honestly, if given a choice. I would get more use out of it, possibly. But for the iPhone 10, people want to know my perspective. I can't necessarily give it because I don't have one. And I would rather spend money on potato chips. And I don't eat potato chips all that often because they're filled with oil. I try to avoid oil. But I did catch a video from Linus Sebastian, You do know Linus, I'm assuming. And apparently he's not very thrilled with the iPhone 10 either. Honesty. Yeah, few people seem to have it anymore. Shy L95, Chirag, who did tune into the Battlefront broadcast. I like broadcasting my gameplay because I have problems and I can't figure out what I need to do. Like, what button is this? How am I? And then the chat that's integrated in the live video, they're like, do this, then that. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Y'all are my manual. I'm not on automatic. It's funny. It really is. Y'all did, you helped a great deal with me here. Okay, so Marble's mad. So Chirag says, you mentioned your brother plays a lot. Does he have his own channel stream? He doesn't have his own channel or stream, but both Frojive and Benjetto, I don't know how you pronounce his handle on the stream, but I'm not playing live with them because I haven't paid for a PSN membership. I didn't really use it all that much when I played Battlefront a couple years ago. So if I knew I was going to do it on a regular basis, I'd probably be more than willing to spring, what is it, $50 a year for the PSN membership, just to play with my brothers again. I think I want to practice a lot more though. I don't want to play anybody in Battlefront online until I stop getting my clock cleaned so easily. That's I was really rusty today. Really rusty. Kimberly E says, first and foremost, thank you for great content. Well, it is content. I appreciate you believing it's great. Your time and honest opinions. I'm making the switch from iOS to Android, but the constant issues with the Pixel 2 XL have me leaning towards Samsung. That said, the lack of security updates on a monthly basis is a concern for me. Should it be? Are there apps and or services that can be used to help protect against certain vulnerabilities and waiting on updates? Or while waiting on updates? Well, first of all, I understand where you're coming from. In fact, I did my best to kind of address this kind of question. It seems to be a very common one throughout this community and well beyond. The trade-off you're going to get is features. So the Note 8, I think, could be argued as, reasonably that it is the leading feature-driven smartphone, certainly within the Android sphere. But for that, you're going to have trade-offs, and I think you outlined them pretty accurately there. It's up to you. Do you care more about features than you do those latter parts? Now, if you don't, like if you are concerned about some of those updates, then maybe Samsung's not for you today. They may be at some point in the future. I know there have been a couple of comments here today talking about an Android One experience. That's one you may consider. It's not a flagship type of device, but it can save you a lot of money and give you a straight up experience. I understand your cautious approach to the Pixel 2 XL or even the Pixel 2. I haven't seen Google necessarily address those hardware shortcomings in software, if they are hardware shortcomings that can be mitigated in software. To me, though, the trade-off is clear. I would prefer not necessarily to have a feature-driven phone like a Samsung Note 8 for a few different reasons, not the least of which is design. The software is not as optimized as it could be if it just didn't have, overhead. And that's the nature of a lot of these experiences. You've got overhead. You've got, bits sitting on top of bits, and I'd rather just have bits. The kibble and bits, I don't know. I'd rather not have the kibble, just the bits. Please. The possibility, though, that you'd be happy, I think, is pretty high. A lot of people have been happy switching from iOS to the Android experience that Samsung provides. I know I would not be at a distance. Some people have said that I would probably notice certain things that I've noticed in a lot of devices. And so I'm very hopeful that I will still be reviewing a Note 8 when one flies into my hands. Like, Ask Dez says that he's going to do it. He keeps threatening it. So I expect that he will. But, I think you just got to decide. Do you want the features? Or do you want a more polished, cleaner experience? And that would help you dictate which path you're going to go down. I can't say it's a horrible decision. It's just a different kind of decision to make, and I wish I could be a bit more detailed, but it's kind of difficult to kind of make I'm making a lot of assumptions. It's difficult to be detailed when I don't know that much about Kimberly. Although I know a lot of people are going to be responding here in chat as well as on YouTube and hopefully giving you a bit more direction. Datalore TV, good to see you again virtually. He says, what about us retro techies not on the bleeding edge? That is a great question. Well, I'm definitely not. Not anymore. I say stay retro. I think the more retro you go, the happier you're going to be. That's what I feel. Like, I love the visuals of Battlefront 2. It's breathtaking. The gameplay, I'm still getting used to it. I need to, get into my groove again, play a lot more, and, eventually we'll, play all the way through in story mode. I'm playing, Novice, whatever the basic beginner level is. I think Explorer was the label they decided to use instead of, Total Noob. Thank you. I appreciate that, EA. But, there's also on my system, I installed the the not emulators, I guess, but yeah, to a certain degree, to play old video games. I'm actually happier playing older video games and simple video games than I am a lot of what everybody else plays. So I say just stick to retro. That's what I like to do. I personally prefer sticking to retro. So I did scroll back for Discord. I apologize that I'm scrolling all the way through again, but I know we have another super chat from Amar Alrar. Oh man, I'm gonna do that again. Amar Al. Oh man, Amar Al-Ruwaili. That's about as good as I can get it. The Pixel 2 XL, his Pixel 2 XL screen has issues with the black colors when I scroll since the minute I unbox it. Is that a normal issue? Have other people experienced it? Well, as I scroll through a bit, I have. I think what you're talking about. The blacks kind of get crushed, especially when you've got the brightness setting to anything apart from 100%. Like if I slide it all the way down, you can't see it. When I slide it all the way down, you can't see what's on the screen. But it can be kind of jarring. I guess I got over it pretty quickly. If I'm in an app that has an icon that I'm scrolling or a picture that it scrolls, it has some dark spots to it, and then I scroll, it's weird kind of jelly effects. Like it disappears and then it appears, and it's very strange. I don't know what the effect is, but I have experienced it. I guess I got used to it. I'm not often using the Pixel 2 XL in a low brightness mode. Usually I'm at 100%. It's either 100% or 0. One of the two in terms of brightness. A high or low is where I have decided to use my Pixel 2 XL. But that could bother you, and if it bothers you, this screen is not for you. I will tell you, I got used to it. It's become a non-issue. I was paying more attention to it at the beginning, wondering if it was going to be a concern. And I'm more concerned with some other things that I've had. Like I'm using Flamingo for Twitter on Android. And initially I liked it. And then he pushed down an update. And it seems that there's some performance snags on it that he hasn't quite licked. And I told him, like, it's still doing this. It's still doing this. And he's not seeing it on his end. And I can't log these things effectively. But it's not something that I'm expecting is going to go away if the developer can't pin it down. But I'm going to give it a few more revisions before I may end up looking to another Twitter client. I would hope that it would kind of clean up, but I would hope that for any particular app. Sharad comes in again and says, "What's your favorite vegan recipe? Want to try something to see if I can go quasi-vegan." I eat whatever Diana makes. I mean, I know it's a stupid response, but it's true. That's my answer. And we just stick with beans and quinoa. I add hot sauce to it, the Valentina stuff. The chance of her making a potato would happen at night, and so she'll kind of crisp it up on a desktop grill, and like an electric countertop grill. I don't know if I have a favorite though. I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of it, a great amount of it, and great textures, great flavors. There's so much to choose from. My recommendation is start simple and go from there. Don't buy junk food. Anything you get at the grocery store that's frozen or not in the vegetable aisle, fruit and vegetable aisle, is probably junk. And it's fun to have every so often, but not something to be a staple of your habit. I don't have a recipe though. I don't collect recipes. Diana really doesn't use recipes. She just makes food. I wish I could be more specific than that, but it's just true. I mean, you try a mixture of vegetables all together and cook it up, and it could be nummy. It's been nummy to me. Mark Gibb comes in with another super chat. Mark, good to see you again. Well, maybe not a super chat this time. I mean, this broadcast. But he says, are we expecting too much from phones now? Man, that is probably a good question. Man, Mark. Okay, I tell you, you've just inspired tomorrow's video. I did mention, I said, is $1,000 too much to spend? But maybe we are expecting too much from phones now. In terms of the price that we pay. That's a good question to dive a little deeper into. But I guess my initial response, and I reserve the right to change my mind, is I don't think we are. I think, we expect more and we expect better, and we should, because that's how technology should work. But I don't know if I can say that it seems to be working that way. But I'd like to see if I can dive a little deeper into that. Let me scratch down a few notes, Mark, and get back to you tomorrow. From Canada, any advice for your geek Christmas? Dude, I've done so many videos on geek Christmases, it's not even funny. Like, I've done a lot. If you go, like, searching for, like, Pirillo or Locker Gnome Geek Christmas or Nerd Christmas, you'll find a few things. I even sang Blue Vista once. I'll have a blue vista without you. I was singing about the blue screens of Vista. I can't. I wrote out the lyrics and everything. I recorded it live. It was crazy. It's still there. I swear to God, it's still there. Unless it got taken down. I don't know. Maybe Elvis's estate got mad. Who knows? Sean Wheat comes in with a super chat. I have a Pixel 2, and I really miss the original Pixel. Yeah, I guess a lot of people have said the same thing about the newer Pixel devices versus the older ones. They really like the older ones. I kind of wish I had an experience of the older ones, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I would probably feel like these were steps backwards. I liked LCD screens. I really did, and now I kind of like OLED screens, OLED screens. So there's always going to be a trade-off, and I don't know if I could make that trade-off today, going between a Pixel 2 XL and a Pixel XL. I could, if I was forced to, but, I'm just, I guess, holding my breath for another year. It's not a bad device. It's just not a great device. And I think maybe that is closer to answering Mark's question, like, are we expecting too much? I think we're expecting solid experiences for what we pay. That's my feeling. Came in by way of Super Chat. So, yeah, you're not the only one, Sean. I've heard a lot of that coming in. So I'm sorry I keep scrolling past Discord a bit more. Give me a second. I got to get to the next Super Chat, people. Sorry. And then I saw some if you have a question on in Discord, and you can join Discord, by the way, if I didn't mention it, by either becoming a patron of mine, patreon.com/Chris Pirillo, or subbing to me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo. Easy to do, links in the video description. Mark Gibb now comes in with another Super Chat today. He says, why don't you use the stock Pixel launcher? Well, Mark, I guess it's okay. It's not bad. It's workable, but there are certain things that I wish I could do. For example, I've seen in third-party launchers where you can swipe down in the middle of the screen and pull up the notification center. I use that feature all the time. Or swipe up and you get the apps. I was never really into the whole swiping left or swiping right to get the Google Now. I just set it up to double tap to get the Google Now stuff. Swiping over and I get another bonus, like just kind of this call out sheet rather than flipping over to a second screen. So it's just finding something that I feel suits me better, allows me to modify things the way that I would want them to be slightly modified. I don't think there's a problem with the Pixel launcher. It's just that I don't think it offered enough for me in terms of what I feel I could get out of a potential launcher. And I've been very, very happy with Action Launcher, almost from minute one. Better Said comes in with a super chat and says, what do you think about the Tesla Roadster? Interested in your opinion as always. Good BF2 stream today, by the way. Thanks, man. Well, thank you for saying it was a good stream. I beg to differ. No, seriously, it was just like, how does this work? How do I do that? Oh, God, it's not... Oh... But I got through, like, the first stage. I actually started, did it, I got through, and I stopped right around an hour. My opinion on the Tesla Roadster, dude, how fast do you need to go and why? That's how I feel. I think it's amazing. What is it, like 600 miles on a recharge or something? But it's crazy. You got to put down, like, $50,000 down payment, and then, like, what is it, $600,000 this car? See, it's amazing to me. What will be more amazing is when everybody can afford one. That's where I'm amazed. Like, I would be more amazed with Tesla if they built something that was sustainable and affordable and accessible and immediate. And that's not Tesla as a company, and it's really disappointing. Because I'm just like, I'm out of that market. So, I'm fascinated. I'm not a car guy at all. I'm not impressed with the speed. It doesn't mean much to me. If I can cruise at 60, I'm good. Some people love it. I'm not one of those. I would want to see a more affordable Tesla. Even if it had, a smaller range or whatever, just to get more and more people buying into that. That, I think, would move a needle. more people buying into an electric vehicle. That's our plan for the next vehicle we get. We're leaning very heavily in the electric direction. So thank you, Beater. Is that I never really asked how to pronounce your name. What size and aspect ratio tablet would you choose? I don't know. Mark Gibb comes in with a super chat. And I'm sorry, not to be flippant with that answer, but 4? These are things that don't ask me questions that keep me up at night. That was not a question that would keep me up at night. Mark Gibb asks, I guess my thought is, what else can phones do? We don't know. It's not our job to figure out what these phones can do. That's somebody else's job. That's what we pay them for. I can tell you they should surface far fewer problems than they normally do. That's for sure. I don't know if, we can sit here and say what we want. And that, I never really felt that we needed to say what it is that we wanted. Better and faster is a given. But something that would be transformative would not be expected. And certainly, it's not always, it's easier said than done. But I think it comes down to just expecting these devices to work. And that is not so much in the realm of hardware experience for some devices as it is software. And I just wish the software was more fantastic. We were having fun today with software. I was broadcasting my voice, and Jedi couldn't figure out if I was living in the speaker all of a sudden. Somehow I beamed it sounded like I was right there in the room, the speaker. She was having fun, we were having fun. It was a total blast. David Brown says with the super chat, what do you think of mid-rangers such as Moto G5? Never had one. I'd be inclined to try an Android One experience, if only to get my hand on it and wrap my head around it, because I am inclined to lean towards an Android One experience and recommend Android One experiences as average users are concerned. Not everybody would say that, but I guess to me, I'd rather have a cleaner software experience than an amazing hardware experience. Give me a clean software experience, and then I'll be thrilled. And so these mid-range types of phones, I think, can nail it if they have mediocre hardware by today's standards, but excellent software. I think they're compelling choices in the marketplace. So mid-rangers, I think, are very, very valid. I still have my other mid-range device in here. This one. The HTC U11 Life. The color is astounding. The software, still not there. But for the price, oh yeah. This is a value. It's a value phone. And that's not me slagging it at all. It's very, very, very valid. Shirag asks, what keeps you up at night? You really want to know? With the next video, what's the next video I'm going to do? That keeps me up. How am I going to keep doing this? That's another video that keeps me up. It's another thing that keeps me up. Like, how am I going to accomplish my goals? I think that's probably the number one thing that keeps me up. How am I going to accomplish my goals? Now that I've laid out my goals, how am I going to accomplish them? And, when I made the choice of changing my dietary patterns, that was a little more simple. Stressful, certainly, but a little more simple and straightforward than a lot of the business goals that I may have had. So a lot of the business stresses that I have keep me up at night, and they really do. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, can't get back to sleep, and that's just an entrepreneurial dilemma, and I'm going to be facing it likely for the rest of my life. That's the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night, business stuff. Etrone in Discord chat asks, what kind of an electric vehicle are you thinking about for your next car? Chris, any brand or model in mind that you've heard good things about? I've heard a lot of good things about a lot of them. No is the answer to that question. I have no brand allegiance. I don't think any one of them is better than another. They all look the same to me. I would be inclined to find one that would have Android Auto and or CarPlay. Certainly being able to switch between the two at boot would be amazing, because I'm now using Android. Diana's still using iOS. So it would be interesting to have that. I think that's my number one thing that I would want. That kind of integration. Datalore TV comes in and he says, Chris, you keep me up at night. Now 2:30 a.m. Yeah, but you're in Ireland. Like that's how it works. I should ask. I don't know what if you said. I think you asked me a while ago what I thought, or if I was watching the new Star Trek. But I should ask what you think of that new Star Trek show. Beats says the Model 3 is kind of affordable, but I share your. It's not affordable. It's also not available on a lease, but I share. I don't think it's friendly for families either. But I share your perspective. Seems like Tesla is just looking for hype at this point. Hey, man, they know their market. They got a good market. I'm not gonna slag them for that. What do I think of the Tesla Model 10? Model 10 or Model X? I don't know what that is. Marble Dash asks, and also, what do you think of the Tesla semi-truck that they just made? I think trucks could be very, very transformative. I think they could save lives. I think that they could potentially save stress and save money at the same time. I'm not going to say save jobs, because you still very much need a driver. But, think about the economic savings and the efficiency of driving an electric vehicle that is a little smarter on the road than your average rig. And I think that speaks very, very highly to the job that truckers do. I mean, it's a critical job for infrastructure. So I'm probably more interested in that than I am the Roadster. And I'm not a driver. I drive cars, but that to me is a very smart thing to do. Very smart, given transportation needs in this country. Carlos asks, what 2017 device has an Android One experience? The Moto X4 and an HTC U11 Life, possibly, but not yet. There are a few. They're just starting to trickle into the U.S. I would have hoped for a Pixel One, not a first-gen Pixel, but like an Android One experience on a Pixel. That would be pretty neat to see. I'd like Google to do that, because I think they could, if they do it the right way and set the right price point, I think they could definitely convert a lot of Apple users over. A lot. Not all. Certainly not all. Let's keep scrolling here. Sorry, I got to skip the YouTube chats because we've got some super chats and some questions coming in from the Discord community. I enrolled in the 8.1 beta, but it's not showing up for me to update to. Is there something I need to do? No, wait. The first time I did, I had to wait, but I think the Pixel 2 XL took a while to actually propagate. And then the second time I did, it was like available immediately. I wouldn't say it should take much longer than a day, though. And that's been my experience. Other people may have had completely different experiences. Marble Dash asks, what do you think of the Tesla semi-truck? Oh, yeah, I mentioned it. I don't care about speed, though. JHockey17 says, I bought tickets to see the new Star Wars in 4D today? 4D? Wow, I didn't know it was in 4D. I only have the tickets for the 2D showing right now, although I need to get around to purchasing my second set of tickets. Because I want to watch it 3 times within a few days. It's tradition. The hope is the movie will be worth watching more than a few times. But it's Star Wars, so of course it is. The next ticket set, though, is probably going to be 2D, and then after that 3D. I will see Star Wars 3D in theaters. Keep an eye out for good theater collectibles too, because I can't get them all. I don't live all around the world. I don't have access to every theater, but I'm into those unique collectible items, specifically around around Star Wars stuff. Other stuff, not so much. So Datalore says, let's just say watching the finale of In the Office Canteen is not recommended. Oh, well, that's it. That sounds fun. Someone's asking a question in YouTube chat that, quite honestly, I don't have an opinion about. Sorry, but you're asking about a hardware company that I really don't deal with, and on a platform that I wouldn't use it on. You could probably get an answer on YouTube, though. Gonna keep moving. This is the problem with being a producer, a live producer for these shows. You kind of have to pick and choose what good questions are, what questions may be good to answer or at least bring up in the video. Like I said, got to give priority to super chats and those in Discord. Twosome Gaming says, Chris, can you give advice on making a business model on, say, Twitch streaming? No need to get too deep into it if you don't want to. Well, Twosome Gaming, I don't even know if I've cracked that nut. I think it just begins with beginning and, tripping your way through. I know that Twitch has a foundation of gamers, and gaming is certainly a part of its culture. But I really like the fact that IRL works, and I'm inclined to use IRL on Twitch probably more so than streaming any kind of gameplay, just because I'm not much of a gamer. And I know other people are, and maybe with enough Battlefront gameplay, enough people will keep tuning in. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. But I think there are certain things you need to do. Number one, having a stream that people would tune into would be an important thing. Being regular, being consistent, engaging, certainly, and really, you're playing the game that you love, and being yourself in playing that game, if it's a game. I think that's critical for any kind of live stream. Now, some people play a character when they're doing live stream stuff, and that may be the thing to do, but I guess my opinion is just be yourself. It's easier to be yourself. It's so easy to be yourself, because that's who you are. You don't have to act on anything. You just be yourself. And I think that's critical for any live stream. I mean, I'm myself in these live streams. I'm myself on Twitch. I never claimed to be the world's greatest player. I'm definitely not, at all. So it's you're actually out of questions, Tony. Oh, come on, get going again, buddy. There's go.tagjag.com/freepoints, which is where you can head right now. Install on either iOS or Android to earn gift cards with hand gestures. The hand gestures do not come with that link. Go.tagjag.com/freepoints. Let's see if I can do this right here. Say go.tagjag.com/freepoints. Links in the video description. Just tap the link. It's so easy. You just tap like the like button and magically, look, a thumbs up appears. Go ahead, tap the like button right now. No one's tapping the like button. I'm waiting for someone. Ah, finally someone did it. See? I told you. I told you the thumbs up. Ah, you weren't expecting that, were you? And then people were like, psych, I didn't really press the thumbs up button. E-Drone says, Chris, I've been considering becoming a lacto-ovo vegetarian, but I was curious. Is there such a thing as vegetarian pizza or other favorite foods like that? Are they more expensive than other types of foods? It kind of depends. I don't know. If there's too many options, a lot of that's just kind of junk food. But I went all in. I just went all in vegan, and I've been very happy with that decision. I mean, it's good that you're kind of dipping your toe into the water. I don't know why. Health benefits, animal benefits, or the like. That's where making a clean cut is usually a better option. I've eaten pizza. It's not as much fun, admittedly, without cheese. There is vegan cheese though, so you can make a pizza with cheese that tastes very good in a melty capacity. Vegan. And with regular things that you would normally put on a pizza. Well, vegetable things. Not meaty things. But there's definitely those kind of foods. I mean, you can get sausages, vegan sausages that in my estimation, even before I went that way, I felt tasted better than the meat varieties. So there's plenty of options for you there. Plenty. And it seems to grow by the day. But my recommendation is stay away from a lot of that stuff. You can get it every once in a while, but stick to just your core stuff, your grains, your whole grains, your fruits, your veggies, and you'll have everything that you need. Nuts, if you're so inclined. Throwboy says, "Will you be celebrating Light Day?" Well, Throwboy, if I knew what Light Day was, I would probably celebrate it. I don't know what Light Day is. I know what Life Day is, and we celebrated that. I had some of the Star Wars beer. We decided that it would taste better in the beans that Diana was making, so the beer was kind of tasted bourbony. It's a stout, like that Stormtrooper stout beer, but it was like a reduction or whatever, and it was just the flavor that stuck. It's good. The beans are good. We also mixed in some of Liz's carrot soup, and it worked. The carrot soup worked in the beans because you couldn't taste it. I tried the carrot soup standalone, but in the beans, oh yeah, totally. You have something stuck between your teeth. Shut up. Do I really? Oh my god. Tell me I don't. Oh, please don't. No. No. Hang on. Oh god, I do. Look at that. Yeah, I do. Okay, hang on. Give me a second. I'm back. Just had to do something over there. had a little a vegan product in my teeth. Oh, you couldn't have noticed this before. Boy, my resolution must be spot on tonight. Someone on YouTube chat asked, "Do you think Steve Jobs is what made Apple special?" I believe so. Yes. And instead of diving too deep into this, just watch my old videos, slightly old videos I recorded just recently about Apple. And you'll learn more than you ever want to know about my perspective on Steve Jobs. Tesla is the only company ahead of all the other companies. Yeah, I know that. I get that. It's just I wish it was more affordable. Let's see here. Oh, he meant Life Day. Yes, that happened already. I enjoyed Life Day. This is the Life Day season, though. So don't stop celebrating simply because Life Day is over. No. I can't wait to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special with Jedi. I think she's really going to enjoy it. Ba, 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 ba. No, every time I see doors that open like this, I think DeLorean. I don't know if that's... I don't even know what that is. What kind of car was that? I have no idea. You noticed something last week? I had something in my teeth, too, and you didn't point it out? Guys, please. This is like a two-way street. Oh, man. Really? Okay, just do me a favor, okay? Next time that happens, next time you see, like, hey, Chris, yeah... And now, I know some of y'all are going to use that and say, oh, he's got this, oh, you got something in your teeth, and I'm not going to believe you. So don't cry wolf on this one. Just, like, make it straight up. Just, if you see it, if you see something, say something. Please. Because otherwise it's embarrassing. Now I got to go back and do, hang on, how much, oh, it's 40 minutes into this video. I can't go back and redo everything. Okay. Can I just, like, redo this whole live video again? Just, if you remember your places. If you know where you were. Okay, do you remember all the questions you asked? We can do this again, can't we? Can't. Okay, I guess not. I'd start over. I've been known to start over, maybe not 40 minutes into a live video. But I guess that's kind of the... That's the value of going live, right? As opposed to me doing a video, recording the video, uploading the video, only to recognize that I had something in my teeth. Once it's recorded, it's in the can, as they used to say. We have virtual cans anymore. See, that's a nice thing. You can actually visit the can while watching me, if you are so inclined. I don't know if I'd recommend that. Someone on YouTube says, what do you think of The Last Jedi runtime of 2.5 hours? It's not long enough. That's serious. The thing, number one, they're talking about a long runtime for The Last Jedi, and my belief is it's not long enough. I could have gone on for another half hour, at least, with The Force Awakens. When it was over, I was like, no! It can't be over! I wasn't ready. I really wasn't ready. I was like, was it really a finale? I guess there was with Starkiller Base, but it didn't feel like a finale. But I'd be happy with longer episodes and even before director's cuts. If there are to be director's cuts, I'm in. Like however long it's going to be, let it just happen. That's Star Wars. Not every movie I think needs to be that way. I remember there were a few movies in the past that I was like, it's not over? Like, can't this just be over? There are movies that I've rented. Thank God. I only walked out of maybe one movie in my entire life, but movies I've rented that I'm just like, I can't do this. I've got way more important things to do with my life. 28 days until the Star Wars movie? Oh, that's awesome. That's good to know. We're well within 30 days. I did know that. And the countdown may not mean much for you, but just think how you feel about Christmas is how I feel about Star Wars. Like, so imagine like having you would get burned out, you'd think, on Christmas, but no, having that fun, exciting viewer, having that fun and exciting thing happening constantly. This is the problem sometimes when I turn my head and see a comment. It was a good comment. Wondering where all the viewers are. Well, they're there. They're out there. People asking questions. People interacting. I don't need thousands upon thousands. If I get a dozen of y'all, I'm happy. It's also a Sunday evening, and I recognize that some people are going, wait, I thought TLDR was on youtube.com/LockerGnome. It is on weekdays, but this is a weekend day. I may very well be cracking into some unboxing juice in the Twitch live stream, if y'all want to join me there, twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo. Because believe it or not, I have fewer followers there on Twitch, but it seems like I almost have as many people watching me live on Twitch, with far fewer subscribers than I do on YouTube in any one of the channels. It's like YouTube's holding back, or people just don't want to watch me live. I love live. Live to me is that's my medium, man. So someone else on YouTube says, I love Star Wars. Man, we should totally hang. He says, I hope we get to learn more about Luke and what happened. Oh, we totally will. About who's going to fall in love with who. I hope there's no romance. I don't know. Maybe there's got to be because it's Star Wars, but it's like, don't push it. Just let it. I just want it to be organic. That's my hope. I just want a good experience, a good time. Let it be a good time. That's it. Oh yeah, and Liz points out the channel's like 10 years old. Over 10 years old. We were like 11 years old. We turned it all the way up to 11. Not many people make it that far. I feel that we made it far enough. So thank you. The last Sith is the person, he's in chat there. I don't know if he's in Discord, but he's in YouTube right now, or on YouTube in chat. The beer was fine. It worked very, very well with the beans. Amazingly well with the beans. And I'm keeping the big bottle intact. That's like, that one's going to stay in pristine shape for my geeky beer label collection. And I have a collection. I really do. Even the Sriracha Stout, which is not as geeky, but it was pretty unique, so I decided to keep it in my collection. I don't collect all beer labels or beers, but if it's a geeky label, I've got like 4 of them now, 4 or 5 alcohol, beer, or any kind of alcohol related geeky labels. So Liz just did a super chat for dental floss. I guess that kind of pays for like a 50 pack. We buy the ones that kind of the with the string in the middle instead of this is me pretending to use dental floss, by the way, like in my ear. Look, it's mental floss. That's a thing though. It's actually a brand. There's a mental floss. Oh, look at all the wax. You can't see the wax. It's invisible. So we've talked about a lot tonight. I don't know if there's anything else you care to cover apart. See, if you guys don't ask questions, Liz posts these cat photos that don't scale very well. And Liz, you should know better. You're a moderator. Should we strip Liz of her moderator abilities? We can do that. We have that power. Cat photos. Why? Whoosh. Do you have always on display, always on, or no? Well, Michael Jacobs there in Discord, I don't really know what always on display you're talking about. If it is the Pixel, then yes, you can see it here, even though the screen is very dim. It is on, always on, and I love it right there. You can kind of see it there. I love it. To the point where I love having an always on display more so than I love having an always off display. Now, this display just turned on because I picked it up, but just laying down, I can't see the time. But laying down, I can see the time. I love it. I love it. This is a huge feature for me. This is like a big win on the Pixel devices or any Android device that supports always on. A huge boon. If that's the always on that you're talking about, I think you need to turn it on. I don't know what kind of battery drain it imposes, but I would say that is very well worth the battery drain for whatever that percentage may be. I have been, I guess, using it relatively lightly today, but I'm at 73% right now on the Pixel, full brightness and everything. It's I think very efficient when it comes to battery. I don't think I've ever felt like I've run out of juice, but I have kind of kept charging throughout the day, but not needing to run to the charger to get it recharged. And I've been I would say a relatively heavy Pixel 2 user, Pixel 2 XL, sorry, and would intend to continue to be a heavy user. I mean, that's what uses the phone is if you don't use it, right? And there are times that I might use it on one day more so than the other, but that to me is a testament of its battery, maybe not the speed at which it recharges, but the fact that I can do pretty much everything that I need to do on one device. That's what kind of makes it a daily driver, or at least an option for a daily driver. Hi from Australia. Someone says on YouTube, been following for years. Is Darth Vader still your favorite Star Wars character? Sure. Is my answer. I don't know if I mean, I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, I have favorite characters, favorite stories, favorite shows or movies, but it's all my favorite. I guess I don't pick and choose. I don't feel like there's one that stands up above the rest. I mean, as far as collectibles go, yeah, I love the Vader stuff. Come on, dude. All right, Liz Banhammer's coming down on Liz. It's a horrible example you're setting. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I collect Vader stuff. If I see a Vader something and it looks unique and cool, yeah, I usually want to grab it. If you know of a Vader thing that exists in your country that I can't get here, or a Star Wars thing that I can't get here, let me know. I wish I mentioned this I think in TLDR the other day. I'm like, I wish I had access to more of that stuff because there's so many amazing Star Wars things from around the world. But unfortunately, you can only get the certain things in the U.S. It's sad. Where do I watch the gameplay? Asks someone on YouTube. The where? Well, right now I did set up youtube.com/ the Star Wars Radar. Links in the video description. But I ended up streaming on twitch.tv/ Chris Pirillo today. Though the promotion around it wasn't that great. Unfortunately, I don't have the ease of being able to take a screenshot and then sharing it on Twitter or to letting people know. Even the automatic tease I posted when I went live on Twitch was kind of stunted to begin with. But if I just work it into some kind of gameplay, I'll take a brief timeout, shoot a picture, take a screenshot, and then somehow share it in a streamlined capacity. There's only one guy here, right? And so I may end up having Diana kind of do something, or I'll figure out how to do it maybe on a tertiary device where I like go in, let's say on Twitch, and then take a screenshot and then share that on Twitter as I'm kind of playing. It's not easy to do when you're just one person who's sitting there. Although Diana wants to play head-to-head on Battlefront. So isn't there a way to do that on Battlefront 2, like split screen, like top bottom? There's a way to do that, because I'll totally stream that. I think it'd be a total blast to do, because she wants to play it, and I know I suck, and I'm pretty sure she sucks as well. So if we just kind of suck together, then we can just stream the suckitude, and y'all can enjoy our suckiness. Steve Mannering comes in with a super chat. He says, for the pardon fund for Liz. No, not enough super chats is going to get Liz out of cat prison. She's going to cat overload. And you know what? Despite the story she tells you, they're her cats. Despite what she tells you, they're hers. Chris, have you ever considered doing react videos to spice the channel up? Maybe new movie trailers or music you like or something? Asks Etron. I guess. But, I mean, I've done Star Wars reactions, and then I put those reactions in my Star Wars YouTube channel. I don't know. I guess maybe? I don't really get excited for movies like other people do. I mean, I enjoy movies, but I usually rent them, and usually when I rent them for free. I don't spend a lot of money on movies unless they're Star Wars. So it's not exactly a thing that I would do. I tried for a long period of time, to do a variety of content, and ultimately it seemed that y'all were more interested in the TLDR live broadcast like we do here, or in the other YouTube channel every day. Or potentially the tech related stuff, which I'm not always inclined to be as fascinated in or in covering as you guys may be interested in hearing. Ahsoka Tano comes in with, what is it, hashtag we love Liz now. That's great, Liz. Great. Ahsoka is on your side. Michael Jacobs says, I have the 2, but I think I want the 2XL. Thoughts? The 2 screen I think is a little better. But the 2XL, resolution is in my estimation a bit more superior. It's a bigger resolution. I think the 2 performs slightly better than the 2XL, but the trade-off, of course, is the resolution, and that's a trade-off for me that I'm not willing to do. Someone suggested I ditch Flamingo and go with Phoenix. I thought Phoenix wasn't doing very well in terms of development. I started with Flamingo. I was very, very happy with it. And maybe if it just kind of gets to the point where I'm like agitated, then I would investigate possibly picking up Phoenix. Although, is Phoenix still really being actively developed, or is it kind of fallen to the wayside? Talon fell to the wayside. Maybe Phoenix didn't. I don't know if I have an answer to that question, but people had recommended Phoenix, and I may end up floating to it. Yep, nope. Nope. Chris, what webcam, asks Fraxis in YouTube chat. I'm sorry, in Discord chat. What webcam do you use for the show? If you use the iPhone camera, how do you do it? No, I wish I could use the iPhone camera. This would be my preference, actually, the iPhone camera. I just have an old mini DV camera that is not even on its last legs. I'll use it until I can't use it anymore. I'd rather not spend any more money on a camera or that kind of infrastructure. I'd like to be able to get a better camera for a higher resolution stream and higher quality, but it's a law of diminishing returns. I mean, if I knew, I think Jerry just ordered a camera. It's like, what did it, it's like $3,000, $2,500. Like, whoa. Well, maybe that's the next thing we can crowdfund together. You want me to get a better camera? Yeah, this is the idea of Patreon. You want me to get something better? You can help me upgrade my equipment. Because to me, this is fine. You guys, my resolution is so okay. Someone was able to pick out, well, you didn't physically pick it out of my teeth, but you were able to pick out that I had something in my teeth. We do have another super chat here. Juan Contreras asks, how long are your Twitch videos or podcasts? Are they long, like an hour? Oh, yeah. The podcast ends up usually being around 20 minutes long. The Twitch streams could go indefinitely, although it usually happens to be around an hour. I'm like, okay, I gotta do something else with my time. So Twitch games, if they do stay in the for posterity, will probably be an hour long. The podcast usually about 20 minutes. The Twitch IRL could be about a half hour or so. I don't have any specific time. Sometimes I don't save the videos. That's the thing with Twitch. Don't ever expect that you're going to be able to watch that video again, because I won't save every single one of them. It just kind of depends on how I feel. So that's how I feel sometimes, that I will keep those videos. Other things, not so much. I did remove the not safe for work label. I did, because it was suggested that I don't have to worry so much about cussing. So I'm like, all right, well, then I'm just gonna suggest that if you don't like colorful language, that you never listen to me, because you never know when something like that is going to slip out of my mouth, which sounds disgusting now that I said it out loud. Hoi. All right, we've got about 3 minutes left in this show, so if you have any questions that I may not have answered before, feel free to ask. If you are so inclined. And remember that we are going to be moving over to the Twitch channel here in a few minutes. It says, I remember when Jerry said something about the chats not working in one of the Twitch live streams. I remember that was hilarious. Yeah, it was true. I had to pull up for Twitch chat. It's not easy to see everything because I'm in the middle of gameplay, but I pulled it up on an iPad, split screen, but I had to pull it up on the web-based version of Twitch, not the app, because the app doesn't show me all the Twitch chats. It's bizarre. Like, some of them just are non-existent on Twitch chat on the app, which is disappointing, because I thought I'd be seeing everything, especially if you're posting cheers and what have you. LG5 Prod says, do you find yourself, oh man, repurposing devices for other things? Sometimes. I think the iPad is finding a purpose. And I'll pull it in again when we start doing the Twitch IRL here in a few minutes. But sometimes I just sideline them. I'm like, okay, this really served its purpose. I'm ready, to kind of move on and potentially find something better. Don't always repurpose devices. I usually just get rid of them. Why you only stream at 720, asks Speeding Cheetah, and not higher res, 1080 or 4K? That is an amazing question, and I've tried. This camera only supports 1080i. The software that I'm running through and the hardware that I'm running through won't basically interlace them, or deinterlace them, so that it can be more progressive, unfortunately. So I'm stuck at 720p on this particular camera. 30 frames per second, 20p. The one that Jerry's getting is like, it does everything. I'm like, yeah, that'd be nice, but I don't have $2,500 to spend. If I had $2,500 to spend on anything, I'd be upgrading my user on Battlefront. Because I guess it would cost $2,100 for that. No, I probably wouldn't do that. I would requisition that fund for Star Wars figures. Casey Sexton says, shout out, fighting and beating stage 3 colon cancer here. Wow. That's great news. I actually had a friend who died of colorectal cancer a few years back. and it was not a good time. He left behind him a wife and a couple of daughters, and I knew him fairly well. He actually wrote songs, and he did a few songs about, not about me, but about the things that I was involved in. Don't worry about not being able to super chat. No big deal. I really appreciate everybody's support, naturally. I appreciate you watching this stream. I appreciate you tuning in for live videos here or in the other YouTube channel, youtube.com/LockerGnome. I appreciate you watching the videos that I normally publish here that aren't live. Thank you for liking the video. Head over to twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo. Sign up to become a sub. Gain access to Discord chat. You can also head over to patreon.com/Chris Pirillo to get access to Discord chat. Some nice bonuses for you as a part of the community to help support this endeavor on an ongoing basis. But as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing an IRL on twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to go grab some unboxing juice, and I will be right back over there. Links, as always, are in this video's description. I love you. I appreciate you. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the Force be with you.